She let me touch the relic. No human was allowed near now. It won't respond to anyone. Else ** Commander Marcus Stone adjusted his formal uniform as the shuttle descended toward the crystalline spires of Xerian's capital city, the planet's twin. Suns cast an ethereal glow across the alien landscape, painting everything in shades of gold and amber. He had been chosen for this diplomatic mission not just for his military record, but for his unique ability to connect with alien cultures. Shuttle touched down on the royal landing platform with barely a whisper. As the doors opened, Marcus stepped into the warm, perfumed air of Xerian. A delegation awaited him. But his attention was immediately captured by the figure at its center. Princess Nessa stood tall and graceful, her iridescent skin shifting between deep purple and silver in the sunlight. Her large violet eyes held an intelligence that seemed to pierce straight through him. Intricate patterns of bioluminescent markings traced elegant lines along her neck and arms, pulsing gently with her heartbeat. Her flowing robes seemed to move with a life of their own, responding to her emotions. "Commander Stone," she said, her voice like music carried on the wind. "Welcome to Xarian. I am Princess Nessa." Marcus found himself momentarily speechless. He had encountered many alien species during his service, but none had affected him quite like this. "Your Highness," he managed, offering a formal bow. "Thank you for receiving me."
Ass!
They walked through the palace corridors. Marcus noticed how the other members of her court watched their interaction with curious eyes. The palace itself was a marvel of organic architecture, with walls that seemed to breathe and floors that glowed softly beneath their feet. "Your mission briefing?" "Mentioned cultural exchange," Nissa said as they entered her private chambers. "But I sense there's more to your visit than simple diplomacy." Marcus smiled, impressed by her perceptiveness. "You're right. The Federation is concerned about the recent energy readings coming from your system. Our sensors detected something unusual." Nessa's expression grew serious. "The awakening," she whispered. "We felt it too. Something ancient stirs beneath our world, something that has slept for millennia." She moved to a window overlooking the city, and Marcus found himself drawn to stand beside her. The closeness made his pulse quicken. "Would you like to see it?" she asked suddenly. "See what?" "The source of your energy readings. The relic that has been forbidden to outsiders for generations." Marcus knew he should decline, should stick to his mission parameters. But something in her eyes, a mixture of curiosity and longing, made him nod. "Lead the way." They descended through hidden passages deep beneath the palace, the air growing cooler and more charged with each step. Ancient symbols glowed faintly on the walls, responding to their presence. Finally, they emerged into a vast chamber dominated by a single, imposing artifact. The relic stood 12 feet tall, surface covered in swirling patterns that seemed to move when viewed directly. It hummed with barely contained energy, and Marcus could feel its power calling to something deep within his human soul. "No outsider has ever been permitted to approach it," Nessa said softly. "But you, ... you're different. I can feel it." Marcus stepped closer, drawn by an irresistible force. The relic's patterns began to pulse faster, responding to his proximity. As he reached out his hand, Nessa caught his wrist. "Wait," she breathed, her touch sending electricity through his arm. "Once you touch it, there's no going back. The relic chooses its guardian, and it has never chosen anyone not born of Xerian." Their eyes met in the chamber's ethereal light, and Marcus felt something shift between them. This was more than duty, more than diplomacy. This was destiny. Marcus looked into Nessa's violet eyes, seeing his own reflection mixed with something deeper. Fear, hope, and an emotion he was afraid to name. "What happens if it rejects me?" he asked. "Then you die," she said simply. "But I don't think it will." "The relic has been waiting, growing stronger. Perhaps it was waiting for you." His hand trembled slightly as he reached toward the ancient artifact. The moment his fingers made contact with its surface, the world exploded into light and sensation. Energy coursed through his body, not painful, but overwhelming. It's like being struck by lightning that brought life instead of death. The relic's patterns blazed with brilliant light, and Marcus felt his consciousness expand. Images flooded his mind. Visions of Xerian's ancient past, of a great war fought against creatures of shadow and void. He saw the Relic's creation forged by an advanced civilization to protect against an enemy that devoured entire worlds. Marcus Ness's voice seemed to come from very far away. He realized he was glowing, his body surrounded by the same energy that pulsed within the Relic. When he looked at his hands, he could see alien symbols flowing beneath his skin, marking him as the chosen guardian. The transformation lasted only moments, but when it ended, Marcus felt fundamentally changed. He could sense every living thing in the palace above, feel the planet's heartbeat beneath his feet. Most surprisingly, he could feel Nessa's emotions as if they were his own wonder, relief, and growing affection. "How do you feel?" she asked. Approaching him carefully, different, stronger, and I can sense. He paused, not sure how to explain the connection he felt to her. "You're not afraid of me? Should I be?" she asked, reaching out to touch his face. Her fingers traced the new markings that had appeared on his skin, glowing softly in response to her touch. "I don't know what I am anymore," Marcus admitted. "Human, but something more." "You're still you," Nessa said firmly. "The Relic doesn't change who you are. It reveals who you were meant to be." She leaned closer, and Marcus felt drawn to her, like a planet to its star. When their lips met, it was like completing a circuit. Energy flowed between them, and Marcus saw flashes of her memories, her lonely childhood as the last of her royal line, her dreams of adventure beyond the palace walls, her growing feelings for the human commander who had awakened something she thought lost forever. They broke apart, both breathing heavily. "The bonding," Nessa whispered. "The Relic has created a connection between us. I can feel what you feel. And I can feel your emotions too," Marcus said, still marveling at the sensation. "This is incredible." Their intimate moment was shattered by a deep, resonant alarm that echoed through the chamber. The Relic's patterns suddenly turned from peaceful blue to warning red. "What is that?" Marcus asked, his new senses detecting something wrong above them. Nessa's face paled. "The shadow sirens. They only sound when... ... She grabbed his arm. "We need to get to the surface now." They ran through the winding passages, the Relic's energy still coursing through Marcus's veins. As they climbed, he could feel a darkness approaching from beyond the planet's atmosphere. Something ancient and hungry, drawn by the Relic's awakening. When they emerged into the palace's main hall, chaos greeted them. Guards ran in all directions, and outside the great windows, Marcus could see dark shapes descending from the sky like falling stars. "The Shadowkin," Nessa breathed. "They've found us." Marcus felt the Relic's power surge within him, responding to the threat. Whatever these creatures were, he knew with absolute certainty that he had been chosen to fight them. The question was whether he was strong enough to protect not just Xerian, but the woman he was rapidly falling in love with. The palace shook as the first Shadowkin vessels struck the city's outer defenses. Through the massive windows, Marcus watched as sleek black ships descended like predatory birds. They seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it, creating holes in the sky where they passed. "How many?" Marcus asked, his enhanced senses reaching out to assess the threat. "Too many," Nessa replied, her voice tight with fear. "They haven't attacked in over a century." "Why now?" Marcus knew the answer instinctively. "Because I activated the Relic," it called to them. Before Nessa could respond, a section of the palace wall exploded inward. Through the smoking breach stepped creatures that defied description, tall, angular beings that seemed to be made of living shadow. Their forms shifted constantly, never quite solid, never quite smoke. Where their feet touched the floor, the very stone began to wither and crack. "Princess, get behind me," Marcus ordered. Stepping forward as the Relic's power flowed through him, the lead Shadowkin spoke in a voice like grinding stone. "The awakening has begun. The Guardian reveals himself. You will come with us, human." "Happening," Marcus replied, raising his hands. To his amazement, energy crackled between his fingers, forming weapons of pure light. The creatures attacked without warning, moving with impossible speed. Marcus fought with abilities he didn't know he possessed, his body moving in perfect harmony with the Relic's power. Light clashed with shadow as he drove the intruders back, but more kept coming. The throne room, Nessa called out. We need to reach the protective barriers. They fought their way through the palace corridors, Nessa using her knowledge of hidden passages while Marcus held off their pursuers. The princess moved with deadly grace, wielding energy weapons that complemented his own newfound abilities perfectly. How did you know to do that? Marcus asked as they paused in the alcove. The connection, she said, breathing hard. I can feel how to fight alongside you. It's like we're two parts of the same weapon. They reached the throne room just as the city's main defenses failed. Through the great dome above, Marcus could see Shadowkin ships pouring through the breach. The sight filled him with determination rather than fear. There are thousands of them, Nessa said, her voice barely a whisper. Then we'll stop thousands, Marcus replied, pulling her close. In the chaos of battle, he needed her to know how he felt. Nissa, I know this is crazy, but I think I'm falling in love with you. Her eyes widened, and through their connection, he felt her heart leap. Marcus, I know, he said, smiling. He can feel it too. She kissed him then, fierce and desperate, as if trying to pour all her emotions into that single moment. When they broke apart, both were glowing with the relic's power. Whatever happens, Nessa said, we face it together. The throne room doors burst open, and a wave of Shadowkin poured in. But Marcus felt no fear. The relic's power sang in his veins, and through his bond with Nessa, he felt stronger than ever before. Together he agreed, and together they stood. Against the darkness, the battle that followed was like nothing Marcus had ever experienced. He and Nessa moved as one, their combined power creating barriers of light that held back the shadow creatures. But even as they fought, Marcus could sense more ships arriving in orbit. This is just the beginning, he realized. They're not just here to capture me, they're here to destroy everything. Nodded grimly. Then we need to find a way to stop them all. As if in response to her words, the relic's power pulsed stronger, and Marcus felt knowledge flooding his mind. There was a way to stop the Shadowkin, but it would require them to fully embrace their connection, to become something greater than either human or Zarian. The question was whether they were ready for that transformation. The battle raged through the night, but Marcus and Nessa managed to establish a safe zone in the palace's ancient heart. The relic's power had created a barrier of light that the Shadowkin couldn't penetrate, giving them precious time to plan. The knowledge the relic shared, Marcus said as they sat together in the protective glow, it's showing me things about your people's history. Original guardians weren't just warriors, they were bonded pairs. Nessa nodded, her hand finding his. The ancient texts speak of it. Two souls joining to become something greater. But it requires complete trust. Complete surrender to each other. What does that mean, exactly? Marcus asked, though he suspected he already knew. It means we have to open ourselves completely. Share everything we are, everything we've ever been. It's the good and the bad. She turned to face him fully. Are you ready for that? Marcus looked into her eyes, seeing his own reflection there. In the short time they'd known each other, she had become more important to him than his career, his duty, even his life. I'm ready if you are. They moved closer together, and Nessa placed her palm against his chest, right over his heart. Then let me show you who I really am. The connection that had been building between them suddenly exploded into full awareness. Marcus felt her memories flooding through him, her childhood loneliness, as the last of her royal line, her dreams of seeing the stars beyond Zarian, her fear that she would never find someone who understood her. He felt her courage, her compassion, her fierce love for her people. In return, he opened his own heart to her. She experienced his memories of growing up on Earth, his drive to protect others, his loneliness in the vast emptiness of space. She felt his dedication to duty, his hidden fears, and his growing love for her. You're beautiful, she whispered, and he knew she meant his soul, not just his appearance. So are you, he replied, pulling her closer. Every part of you. As their bond deepened, so did their physical connection. They came together with a passion that was both human and alien. their merged consciousness creating sensations neither had imagined possible. Every touch was magnified. Every kiss shared between two souls that had become one. When they finally rested in each other's arms, Marcus felt fundamentally changed. He was still human, but he was also something more. Through his connection with Nessa, he had become part of Zarian itself. "I can feel the planet," he said in wonder, "every living thing on it." "And I can feel the stars," Nessa replied, her eyes bright with amazement. "Through your memories I can see the galaxy as you've seen it." Their moment of peace was interrupted by a new sound, a deep, thrumming noise that seemed to come from the planet's core. "The Relic," Nessa breathed. "It's responding to our bonding." They dressed quickly and made their way to the chamber where their journey had begun. The ancient artifact was now blazing with power, its patterns more complex than ever before. But more importantly, Marcus could sense similar relics activating across the planet. "There are more of them," he said. "Dozens of them, all connected." A network, Nessa realized. The ancient Guardians built a planetary defense system, but it required bonded pairs to activate it. Then we're not just fighting for the palace, Marcus said, understanding dawning. "We're fighting to awaken the entire planet." Outside, the Shadowkin had regrouped, their ships forming a blockade around Zarian, but Marcus no longer felt outnumbered. Through his connection with Nessa and the Relic network, he could sense other defenders awakening across the planet. "You ready for this?" Nessa asked, taking his hand. "As ready as I'll ever be," Marcus replied. "But whatever happens, I want you to know that meeting you has been the best thing that's ever happened to me. And you've shown me that love can transcend species, transcend worlds," she replied, squeezing his hand. "Oh, now, let's save our home." Together, they approached the Relic, their combined power causing it to sing with harmonious energy. The final battle was about to begin. The awakening of the planetary defense network sent shockwaves through the Shadowkin fleet. Marcus felt their confusion through the Relic's expanded awareness. They had expected to face a single Guardian, not an entire world transformed into a weapon of light. "They're regrouping," Nessa said. Her consciousness merged with his as they stood before the blazing Relic. "But they're afraid. They've never encountered anything like this." Marcus nodded, feeling the network's power flowing. Through him, across Zarian, other bonded pairs were awakening, their love and dedication creating points of light that connected across continents. The planet itself was becoming a living weapon. "It's time," he said, and together they stepped forward into the Relic's embrace. The transformation was instantaneous and overwhelming. Marcus felt his consciousness expand to encompass the entire planet, while Nessa's awareness reached out to touch every living thing on Zarian. They were still themselves, but they were also something infinitely greater. Above them, the Shadowkin ships began their final assault. Beams of dark energy lanced down from orbit, seeking to break the growing network of light. But with each attack, the planetary defense system grew stronger, fed by the love and determination of its defenders. "Now," Marcus called out, his voice echoing across the planet through the Relic network. Light erupted from every active Relic site, forming a web of energy that surrounded Zarian like a protective shell. The Shadowkin ships that were caught in the network's embrace simply dissolved, their dark matter unable to withstand the concentrated power of love and life. But the enemy's flagship remained, its commander too proud to retreat. It descended toward the palace, its hull blazing with malevolent energy. "He's targeting the main Relic," Nessa said, her voice tight with concentration. "If he destroys it, the entire network collapses." Marcus felt the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. This was why he had been chosen, why the Relic had called to him across the vastness of space. He was the Guardian, the protector, the one who would stand between the darkness and everything he had come to love. "I have to face him," he said, beginning to rise from the Relic's embrace. "No," Nessa said firmly, her hand catching his. "We face him, together." They ascended from the chamber, their combined power lifting them into the air. The palace roof cracked and fell away as they rose to meet the descending ship, two figures of blazing light against the darkness. The Shadowkin commander emerged from his vessel, a creature of such concentrated darkness that reality seemed to bend around him. When he spoke, his voice carried the weight of dead worlds. You have awakened something that should have remained, sleeping, human. Now you will watch as your precious world burns. Not today, Marcus replied, his voice carrying the strength of two souls united, and not ever. The battle that followed was beyond anything mortal beings could have imagined. Light clashed with shadow high above Zirian's surface, each blow shaking the very foundations of reality, but Marcus and Nessa fought as one, their love giving them strength that no individual could possess. In the end, it was not power that won the day, but understanding. Through their bond, Marcus and Nessa showed the Shadowkin commander something he had forgotten: the beauty of life, the power of love, the strength that came from connection rather than domination. The creature of darkness hesitated, and in that moment of uncertainty, the combined light of the Relic network enveloped him. He didn't die. He was transformed, his shadow nature purified by the love that surrounded him. As the last of the Shadowkin ships fled into the void, Marcus and Nessa descended back to the palace, their bodies still glowing with the Relic's power. The battle was over, but their journey together was just beginning. So what happens now? Marcus asked, as they stood together in the chamber where it all began. Now we rebuild, Nessa said, leaning against him. Explore the galaxy together, spreading the knowledge of what we've learned. Love is the most powerful force in the universe. Together, Marcus agreed, kissing her gently. Always together. Above them, the stars seemed to shine brighter, as if the universe itself was celebrating their victory. And somewhere in the quantum foam that connected all things, the Relic network hummed with contentment, its guardians finally united in purpose and love.